Hi, everyone. Hope everybody is having a great Sunday and excited for the week. We actually are going to have quite a bit of a volatility again this week, especially with the news coming out with the, Trump pausing the Iran stuff. But I feel like something is going on between China and Taiwan, and that's going to be the news. Might give us that pullback. We are looking for it. Might not happen this coming week, but with everything else, we do have a lot of big name earnings coming up and plus the data. So let's quickly go through and look what we have for the week, especially on the data side of it, because it's going to be important to, with the with our earnings coming up. So Monday is pretty much all about the PMI numbers, and they are coming after market opens. So it starts at 9:45. We have the first and then the second two numbers come out at 10 a.m. So very important if you are scalping in the morning that you have some sort of a break even or a stop loss in place if you are in a trade, or try to close everything. And then Tuesday is going to be, again, we do have data before market opens, and we have a Fed president from Kansas City speaking before market opens. And then we got the factory orders and job openings. I'm not sure how much it's going to affect the market, but we will see some sort of a volatility Tuesday morning as well. But the most important one is where we get the Wednesday and the Friday numbers. These two do tend to move the market. So and on those days, if we look at on Wednesday, I believe we have a Lilly before market open. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? Yes, Wednesday morning, we got the ADP employment numbers, which is very important. This is where market is usually listening and checking to see what does those numbers look like. And we have Lilly, Shopify, Uber, Disney. All these names are going to be reporting before market opens. So when you are doing your work, make sure you check what those earnings look like, and because they are going to be impacting the market, whether we are running, whether those stocks don't do well. It's very important, especially because on Tuesday, after market closes, we have AMD and SpaceX reporting. Very important to see, because that's going to affect our chip market, where NVIDIA and like MU, SNDK, all those names are going to be affected depending on how AMD reports. And with the SpaceX, we will also see how Tesla kind of move with it, right? So very, very volatile week. So if you are taking trades, I want you to protect your capital. That's going to be your number one goal. And don't wait. Don't let the trades go down 60, 70, 80%. It's okay to cut at 40%. It's okay to cut at 50. It is okay to cut at a break even if the trade isn't working in your favor. So that's very important. Okay. And then on Thursday, we got the initial jobless claims. And then Friday is going to be very important as well. And most of the stuff comes before market opens. And as you guys know, I am very big on Fridays trading the next week's contracts only. And on Friday, we will come back to on Thursday's evening earnings, which are going to be DraftKings, Airbnb, and who else is there? Trade Desk is there. So we got quite a few of earnings that are going to be also happening on Thursday evening, which will impact how the market is opening on Friday morning as well, and plus this data. So a lot is happening. Please keep all these things in mind. I want you to get in the habit of checking this calendar every morning before you start your day for trading. It's marketwatch.com, and you just go to the calendar, where it gives you all the information what is coming, and so you don't get stuck in a trade. Especially pay attention to the earnings. I tend to sometimes forget to look at it as well, so especially the earnings, and then I'm like, oh, why did that drop? Oh, great, it had earnings. So please make sure, pay attention to the earnings as well. And we are pretty much I think after this week, next week, we will have very small numbers left behind. So should be coming on to end with the earnings season as well. Okay, so now let's look at, actually, what am I gonna start with is, I'm excited. So I want you guys to stay until the end of it. And I'm gonna go over, I pretty much this weekend dumped all my brain into coding and got Claude and ChatGPT, had to work with both of them to put the stuff that me and Benita has been working on for a year, and I got the indicator working. So I do need to test it to see, make sure it's, because I haven't tested it in the live market yet. So if it is working well, I will see. I might share it depending on how nice you guys are to me. Just joking, just joking. Okay, but I will share how it did. This is looking at the previous data, which we actually in real time did take trades, and so far the indicator aligns with it. But I cannot forward test it. So I have my watch list ready to do forward testing as well on the names that I normally trade. And that is gonna be for the next, hopefully I'll do it for the month of August to have enough data to see if there are any glitches or something happens. And then come September, hopefully I can share it. It has been game changer for both of us. We've been testing over a year now, and we've made a lot of changes. We've made changes on the timeframes. We've made changes on the things we were looking at, whether it was the 2 hour, 3 hour, 1 hour, 4 hour. So a lot of hard work from Benita, myself, and Killa has gone into this. So really excited to see how it works out. Okay, so having said that, let's get into our trades. I'm gonna tell you which ones are my A, B plus setups, but there are a few names I want to go over. Might surprise us how they play out. So we'll go over those as well. So let's start with the first ES to see where we are right now. And so currently we are in a zone where if we hold 7,500, even if we hold above 7,480, let's say, because there is this fair value gap right now. So if we come into this fair value gap and market does decide to bounce from in here and continue to the upside, then we can say the low is in. However, if we start to lose below this 7,480, because we do have some imbalances left here in 7,450, I would not mind a pullback in here and then turn around. Very possible. However, depending on everything that is going on, and especially this week's volatility, we could get another drop all the way into 7,400 to 7285 to 7,300 zone as well. Did see some flow, not a lot of it in the, what do you call, on Friday at the end of the day, not much, but there was some. So we'll keep an eye to see how the week starts, how, especially on Wednesday, what market wants to do. Okay, NQ pretty much is similar story. I still think this one has that we have a little bit more deeper leg of a pullback into NQ. That could be AMD, or AMD could really push this one to catch up with the ES. So I'm not going with any bias into the week. I am gonna play level to level. We break this, I'm going for long. We break below, I'm going for short. I am not going with any bias at all. This has been the zone that I wanted it to break out of it and retest, which we did get Friday. So do we hold now, or do we come down deep down into fair value gap and test and then take off? So we'll find out. And then on SPY, we are at a very crucial area, 743 to 750 zone. Do we we close above the 750. If we do manage, I would say even if we manage to close above 747.70 and it holds, we do have a potential going back up to 752 to 753 area as well. However, if we start to lose 743, if we break below 743, then that dump back into 737, 735 is very much likely to happen. So keep those that in mind. Okay, so now let's get into what am I watching. Benita found some really good ones as well, so we'll review those. So first I want to start with is the travel sector. So let's go with RCL. I'm actually gonna start with the weekly time frame here. I really like how this name has been consolidating and how we have been in this range for a while. Even if you go down to the monthly, this consolidation has not been breaking below where we've closed any month below 240. So ideally, I would like for it to give us a one retest, especially on the daily if we go down. If we can get a pullback into the 290 to 300 zone, something like this, and then break out of it. This looks a lot like Google when Google originally did that breakout and went to make all-time highs. This chart is looking very much like that. So we did already have the impulsive move down and we've been in a distribution, but the distribution zone has not broken out of it. So if we can break out of here, I think this one could easily into the targets of breaking out of this all-time highs into the 400 zones, somewhere from 360 to 383, 400 area is doable. So now if we look at other names similar to RCL, and they are all looking very good. CCL is another name. So as you guys know, I love when we have a breakout and we get a retest. That is the perfect lower high that you want the stock to make. So this one, as long as we hold above the $26 area, I think it can easily go into the 33 to 35 zone of this supply zone as well. Next is Delta Airlines. I've shared this chart before as well. And again, if you look at it, my setup is pretty much the similar setup right here happening on Delta as well. So we got that manipulation leg. We are in distribution now. As long as Delta can hold and give us a breakout above I would say 85, as long as we hold above 85, even if it wants to clear up this imbalance, we come down into 85 area as well, and could see something like, especially if this week's volatility, and then break out of it. I think something is happening. I don't know if it's going to be connected with some sort of a news or some sort of whatever is happening in the Middle East, some oil news. I don't know, but I think these names are setting up very nicely for some sort of a breakout. Next is, do I want it to go over? SMCI. Okay, this is another one, has a nice inverted head and shoulder setup, has been struggling to stay above 30 because they tend to keep getting some negative news. Their accounting keeps fucking up, so it's like can't break and hold above 30. Does have a gap up here as well, but I am liking the price breakout retest, and then we are moving to the upside. So as long as this name holds above 27, I think the potential back into 37.40 could come very fast. And I believe they do have earnings coming up. Yes, so their earnings are on August 11th. So the following week. So keep this one on the list for sure. And I would definitely take profits if you are in before earnings, because this company tends to do a lot of shitty shit. So that is the, okay, let's look at Google. I know we took profits on it, but I really like how Google looks on the weekly time frame. I like how Google retraced it back on the monthly, and we held above our 320 level. This was a perfect retracement into your fair value gap and bounce out of it. So now going down into the weekly time frame here, I like how price moved, but this week I would prefer some sort of a pullback and then continue to move to the upside. Why do I have this stop loss up here? But I will remove that. So I think the way the displacement happened here, we could get an inside week as well for this coming week and then break out, because Google has been moving pretty much the whole week last week, and might be time for Google to kind of be a bit sideways. But this week, as long as we hold above where did we close on 356? So as long as this thing holds above 340, 345, I think Google has a potential to continue to back up. So I will definitely be looking. This is my A+ setup. I like how the monthly, the weekly, the daily, all the time frames are in one sync. So this is the type of setups you want to look for it. This is where, if it fails, if we break below 340, we know this is where we want to get out of it, right? You don't want to continue to hold. It has invalidated it because you got a clear level. If it breaks below that, then you should be done with it. But this setup is looking really, really good. Okay, next is I like writing as well. So this is another one. Let's delete some of this stuff. Like the pullback and break out of it. Buyers actually showed up. We completed this displacement candle. We came back, retested it. So as long as we don't lose below now, where are my lines? Why can't I see them? Okay. As long as we don't break below, I would say I'll give myself a little bit more room around the 34 to 35 zone. If it does not break below, I think this has a room to go back into this supply zone. You want to buy time, obviously, but if it does pull back and holds above 32, if you've missed an entry, because we took it on Friday, I know I didn't share it with this group. We had another group of another story. Anyways, if it pulls back and holds above 32, that's your entry for it to get in as well. So just B+, not really the top of A+. You want to buy time because I did a starting position and didn't go all in yet. So because I'm okay with the pullback. All right, let's see. Okay. Another name that I have shared previously as well, and this one has the perfect accumulation, manipulation, distribution setup. So now if we get a pullback into, I would say somewhere in this zone of, what is the box? From 500 to 480, anywhere in here, and it does not break below 480, I think this is setting up very beautiful. That could give you at least $100 move, and these contracts move very well as well. I'm going to remove the gap from here as well. So as long as we don't break below 480, and I would do scale in. I would not go all in this one. I would buy time and I would scale in, meaning you start with 2 contracts, you keep money for 2, and then your stop loss comes in place. So let's say we get a pull back into the 500, or we get a pull back into 495. That might be it. It might not pull back any further. So that's where you want to scale and you want to start a position. If it pulls back to 480, that's where you want to buy all of it. Then have your stop loss in place. Now, if it starts to break below 480, then you want to, okay, I'm out, whatever, 10, 15, 20% you're down, you need to cut and get out of it. Okay. And always give at least 1 day before you jump out of a trade. Okay, another one is Baidu. And if you look at the close on Baidu, we closed 111.111. So lucky numbers for all of us. And I think Baidu, especially on the monthly, really like how it has been building here for a couple months and almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months it's been in this zone where we have not broken below 100 or we have not closed below 100. So as long as this, and they have earnings coming up as well. So as long as this name holds 100, I think Baidu's time has come and it is going to start to break out. However, if it breaks below 100, then nothing is stopping for this thing to going down to 95 to 80. So I would keep a tight stop loss on this because even weekly looks amazing. Like you got a nice hammer candle, 3-day looks good, 2-day looks good. 3 weeks look good. Like this is a perfect setup as long as it can hold that 100 zone. So if it holds, I would target 120. It might have a struggle breaking 120. So if you look, it has struggled in this zone for many, many times, and it has broken below from there every time. So that's where you want to target to be all out of your contracts. That's a nice $10 move. If it does have a pullback for your entry, I think this is setting up very nicely. Okay, I went over Baidu, Google, I'm at RCL. Okay, CRO. Another name is looking really good on the larger time frames, but this one also has earnings and at the end of the month. So right now we closed with the hammer candle. We could get a pullback and then continue, but as long as it holds above 185 here, then you could look for it. It also can give you a deeper pullback as well, where we could see somewhere into the 130 to 132 area. I wanted to bring this to the attention so people can start paying attention to it, just because I do like the structure, how it's building. So if you want to put some alerts on in the 175, 180 zone, if it pulls back, see what kind of market structure is starting to look. Are we breaking, making new higher lows, lower lows? Like what the hell is happening? You want to pay attention to it, especially where the 4-hour is. I would not mind this fair value gap getting filled and then bounce out of it. But if we do start to lose below 170, then it can get down into 135, 140 area. So this could be a both trades. You could do calls and you can do puts on this one. So keep that in mind. What else? I think I went over a lot here. This is another name right out of a demand zone. So any pullback MDB, if we can get a pullback into 320 to 325 area, I think this is a go as well. 325 to 325 zone. I like pretty much a similar setup on this as well. You got that, retracement back and then stock broke out of it. We're currently holding, would like a pullback and then get into the trade. I don't know if we might not even give. I do like NVIDIA where we are, but with the AMD earnings, I'd be a little bit careful. Few names, I'll just go over quickly. This one, as long as holds above 92, could be a go. Another one right out of the demand zone. I like how we came down and retracement into the demand zone, held back above this 900 area and bounced out of it. Contracts are a bit expensive on this name, but they do move well. So any pullback and then this thing continues. I went over that. This one, I'm not going to go over. Oh, here we go. CSIQ. This is from Benita, and I do like As long as we hold 15, shares would be better because it's a smaller stock, could give you a push all the way into the 20 zone. If not, then I would take some profit here, 17.98. I think this is it on the DKNG has earnings. Costco, I like the pullback. This is actually a nice pullback. If this thing can hold above 950, definitely I would look for it. I don't think so Costco is going to stay below 1,000 for too long. We got could see this supply flip in the future, and we pull down and then make an all-time high on Costco as well. IBM, I like the manipulation and distribution leg. I think where we are right now, if depending on the market, if we do get a pullback into the 210, 215 area, could be a nice setup for a swing. I wouldn't right here. I don't like where we stopped, where it got rejected, the 230 and pulled back. So I want to see a little bit more of a price development on the 4-hour to see what it does. And do we hold and then probably look for a swing on it as well. Shopify has earnings. Gonna leave this one alone. This might be actually ready. BP. This, depending on what oil news do we get. I do like DKNG, but damn, these earnings are right there. So if I do like this as well, but would not mind a little bit of a manipulation leg to come this week and then get the distribution. Marble. This one obviously didn't play out. We had a deeper pullback. This does look like a manipulation we got in here. So do we get now distribution back up? That's the question. I would like a pullback. I think pull back and fill this tiny bit of a gap that it created would be very nice. Gap fill from here, stay above 180, 185 as a nice breakout. Okay. So that's for the swings. I'll quickly go over my levels for scalps as well. And Apple. Let's fix this. Calls above 3. Oh, I actually did update the levels. Calls above 310, puts below 305. AMD with earnings coming up. Contracts are gonna be crazy. So just keep that in mind, not to go crazy. And usually the spreads are just insane when it is earnings season. So make sure that you are not fighting the trend on these ones. I would stay away from AMD this week. Avigo calls above 390, 392 area, and then puts below 389 on Avigo. Coin calls above 150, puts below, actually, I would say puts below if we lose Friday's open, 145. Let's make it 145. Google, like we want the sideways anyways, so I would like puts below 350 and calls above 356, 357 area. Hood, need this thing to move. My swings look ugly. So calls above 88, 89, puts below 85. Meta, staying away from this one for the swing part of it, because you can't trade this. Like, you cannot tell me this is any sorts of price action of, you can tell a trend. There's no freaking trend happening in Meta, either gapping up or gapping down. Those are the things. So this is more of a day trade, or whenever you feel like, oh, Meta is gonna gap up, I would buy 1 week out contract to see what the proper stop loss. So there's still gaps to the downside on Meta, came very close to filling even this one. So for day trades, calls above 560, 561 area, puts below 550, 552, and 550 is better break below of that. Microsoft has been running. We got the nice gap to the downside. This could be a sideways week for Microsoft this week. However, calls above 465, puts below 458. NVIDIA calls above 202 or 21 and puts below 198. Again, AMD earnings, so keep that in mind. PLTR has earnings coming up and contracts will be spread, will be wide, so keep that in mind. Calls above 125, puts below 119. SPY calls above 747.74, puts below 745.55. Tesla, this is another one. SpaceX earnings coming up, so anything is possible. Calls above 315, puts below 310. Okay, that is it. Now let me show you guys my indicator. Where did it go? Is it in here? It is. Where did my Zoom go? Sure. Okay, so this is the yellow, white, and the blue. That's my indicator. Lines are automatically plotted by it, and they move in real time with the market. So there's no lagging in it. That's the beauty of it. And it works on 2 time frame. It works on the 5 minute. It works on the 3 minute. I'm hoping I can put something together where it can be used as also with the targets, like once stuff starts move, like let's say it breaks out of 340, now what should be your first TP, second TP, third TP? So I'm working on that, and my brain hasn't figured it out yet. And Claude, I had used all of my free tokens and I wasn't going to pay for it. So I will get back to it because my tokens are going to reset at the end of the day today. So hopefully I can figure it out. So anytime we get the bounces or rejections, the run up is literally more than 100%. So even on the 3 minute, like pre-market, basically where it held, where it bounced from at the open and continue. I do have one more manual indicator that comes out of the trading view, which I have taught you guys in masterclass. I do plot that on it as well for an extra confirmation, just to be, are we above it, are we below it, on it. So this was a perfect trade. Here's your NVIDIA perfect trade as well, bounces from it, and then it continued. So it's been game changer for us. And rejections also are just powerful. When it rejects, usually doesn't really make the move. So you can see the rejection here. Here we had earlier rejection and we just continue to sell off, right? What was the other one? I don't know, when was the last? SPY, like literally to the T, and bounced from it. And once it continued to broke, we moved higher. So just wanted to show you guys a little glimpse of it, how it is looking. So yeah, I'm excited. Okay, let's have a great week and let's not give any of our money to the market. Be smart, please. Every bit adds into your portfolio. So if you feel like I only take 10-15%, make sure you're cutting at 5-7% as well. Have a tight stop loss. If you cannot hold and you panic and you sell it, just don't give then 50-70% back to the market, right? So write down your plan. What's your goal for the coming week? What are you going to work on it? And forward test it. Like we do back testing on the weekends. And now, okay, these are the things that worked. I am going to forward test. Forward test means as the market is happening, is everything in the back testing you did it play out as well in real time for you? And that's where you make your notes. And then on the weekend, you sit down and replay it, do the back testing, like, okay, that last week when I did that forward testing, what did I do? Did I miss anything? In that back testing where you pick up. And then the next week, when you retest your setup again, focus on one thing, master one thing. If you don't have an edge mindset, all of everything else means nothing. Then you're just blaming on the psychology, because that's an easy route to get out of it. The first thing you have to work on is make sure you have an edge, the edge that you're work with it, whether it's the time frame, whether it's the, if when it 1 hour candle, 2 hour candle, like what is it? What's your edge? If you cannot explain me your edge within 60 seconds, you need to go back to and find your edge and work on it. Okay. Anyways, I am excited for this week. Let's go. Let's make some money. All right. I will see you.